On a misty morning in November, I found myself in the Lone Mountain Cemetery, looking down at my brother-in-law's tombstone. Dr. Kuhn and Dr. J.B.D. Stillman stood at my side, each with a shovel in hand. Guards stood at the closed entrance gates, affording us privacy. Coats came off as digging commenced. At first, I felt I was committing an unforgivable sin. But as my back strained and my hands developed blisters, those feelings subsided until my shovel made contact with something solid. The other two paused, nodding to one another, then resumed. Once space was clear, the two doctors were about to lift the coffin lid when I interrupted. "Wait, gentlemen, please bear with my squeamishness. Before you open it, would you please prepare me for what I'm about to see?" Dr. Kuhn looked uncomfortable. He glanced at Dr. Stillman, who replied, "Why, David, you need not see anything." "No," I disagreed firmly. "I promised my wife that I would follow through with it to the end." "She never needs to know," Dr. Kuhn replied softly. "I'll know. Please just tell me." "Very well," the man sighed as he wiped his hands on his vest. "By now, all of the body fluids will have dissipated. The clothing will be intact. Likely, dry skin will still cover the skeletal remains. Hair will be present." Kuhn paused to see how I was taking it. "Shall I describe what we'll do next and the skull removal process?" Squeezing my eyes shut, I nodded. "Once the lid is off, the first thing I will do is hand you the iron bar. Next, I will test the skull to see if it separates from the spine. If not, Dr. Stillman has tools for that. I will remove any organic matter that freely separates. Dr. Stillman will take the skull and place it inside the box." Kuhn paused, waiting for my response. "Understood. Proceed," I said gravely. It took all three of us climbing inside the hole to pry the lid up and place it off to the side. I was surprised to see Phineas's body exactly as Dr. Kuhn described. Mummified-looking remains wore Finn's clothes, but it no longer looked like the man I remembered. When I hopped out of the hole, Dr. Kuhn handed up the bar. It was ice cold to the touch, heavier than I remembered. Not wishing to watch more of the proceedings, I held it up, running a finger over the words etched on its surface. "This is the bar that was shot through the head of Mr. Phineas P. Gage at Cavendish, Vermont, September 14th, 1848. He fully recovered from his injury and deposited this bar in the Museum of the Medical College of Harvard University." I remember Finn's story about the engraver he hired to do the work, misspelling his name. I could hear Phineas saying, "When mistakes are made, it's the good man who doesn't get angry, but figures out how to move forward from there." I chose to focus on memories rather than listen to the doctors going on about their ghoulish activity. "Mission accomplished," Dr. Stillman proclaimed, loudly, breaking into my thoughts. He and Dr. Kuhn replaced the coffin lid. "Let's get that hole filled." When we finished, Dr. Stillman offered to take the skull with him to process it for travel. I promised myself at that moment that the skull would remain inside its box until it was delivered to Dr. Harlow. I didn't care to ever look at it or have any member of my family see it. Without my noticing, a murky fog had rolled in. The city behind the cemetery walls had been engulfed in a chilly, dull, gray blankness of a November day. Seagulls could be heard high above in the blue sky that must be up there. Our boot steps sounded muffled. Dr. Stillman cradled the box in front of him like a wise man, on his way to deliver a gift to the baby Jesus. Dr. Kuhn carried shovels and a bag of tools. I kept pace with the others. Phineas's bar grew heavier every minute. A raven landed on a tombstone nearby. It shrieked, raising its wings like it expected a token in exchange for letting us pass. When the guards opened the gates, the metal hinges let loose a high-pitched protest. I wondered if the flaming gates of hell would sound that way, if this deed took me to that entrance. Worse yet, would Phoebe ever forgive me for this?